What's going on, everybody? Now, everyone and their mother is talking about the 23 draft, and rightfully so. There's a lot of talent going on in there, but people aren't talking about this 24 class enough. And I honestly think if you're moving towards a rebuild right now, and people are pretty unlikely to give you their 23 first, consider making a deal for these 24 first and picking up a couple extra picks. Because there's a good amount of talent in this class. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start off with some couple honorable mentions here. First one, Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver out of Georgia. I think he's super talented. He can make some very impressive catches, but he's been injured right now. So I'm really hoping to see that leap forward next season, if not towards the end of this season. Then we got Donovan Edwards, Michigan running back. He's behind Blake Corum right now, so you can't really blame him for the lack of production too much. And he's done some impressive things, you know? I'm excited to see what he can do when Corum likely leaves this offseason because he's a great runner, and I think the real value here is what he can do as a receiving back because he's shown a lot of that so far, despite even being behind Blake Corum. Next one we got is Mario Williams. Now, Mario Williams, wide receiver out of USC, is pretty shifty, and his production hasn't been crazy this year, but I think he's super talented. And when Jordan Addison and Taj Washington both leave after this season, I think he's going to put up some crazy numbers with Caleb Williams. Now, I was very tempted to put him around the 12th spot, but there's a lot of people ahead right now that have already put up that production. But I think Mario Williams is a player that, given a massive boost in production next year, he's probably going to inch his way into the first round. So be on the lookout for a name like that. And then the last honorable mention is Ja'Cory Brooks, wide receiver out of Bama. He's shown flashes, but he's been inconsistent, and that's kind of the main reason that kept him out of the top 12 for me. So those are some honorable mentions. Keep your eye on those guys, but let's get into the top 12 of the 24 draft. And at number 12, we're going with Troy Franklin, wide receiver out of Oregon. Now, I get it. I just said inconsistency was a problem with Ja'Cory Brooks, but I see a little bit more out of Troy Franklin. He's been Bo Nix's favorite target and been putting up some great numbers in some games, but again, consistency has been a little bit of an issue, but I've been very impressed. He can make some spectacular catches and has a very good speed. And you can make the argument for Franklin or Brooks here, but as I said, I'm going Franklin here. At 11, Will Shipley, running back out of Clemson. Now, some people are probably going to be mad that I have Shipley this low. Everyone's been giving him those McCaffrey comparisons, but in my eyes, the reality is he's not nearly the receiver that McCaffrey was. And on top of that, I'm just slightly concerned about his size. He's got a decent build, but I want to see a little bit more on him next season because he bulked up this offseason, but where he's currently at, you can't really overly trust weight reports in college. You know, you kind of have to wait until they get to the combine and have those official weights. So I'm still a little slightly concerned about size. And don't get me wrong, that hurdle against Louisville was insane. He looks very athletic, but I think people are rating him a little bit too highly because he's a white running back and he's getting McCaffrey comparisons. I haven't seen personally the receiving workload, the receiving production that would put him on a McCaffrey level prospect. So that's why I have him at 11 and not as high as some other people. And people are probably going to be even more angry at me since I'm putting Raheim Rocket Sanders, Arkansas running back, over Shipley at the 10 spot. Now, I think Sanders is great in every area of the game. He's got great speed for his size. He's a big body. He can break tackles. And I think he's just as good as a receiver as Shipley. So I couldn't put him under Shipley because I think he has more size. He's just as good as a receiver. And he's got pretty good speed for that size. And because of his size, I'm not too worried about him losing downs at the NFL level. So that's the reason I have Raheim over Shipley at 10 and then 11 respectively. The 9 spot, we have Quinn Ewers, Texas quarterback. Everybody knows his name, but I really need to see some more next year. Now, I think he can go off and play his way into the top 3 or top 5 of this rookie draft. But right now, I don't feel comfortable putting him any higher because he hasn't shown what these topper end QBs have. And in my opinion, with the weapons that he has, he should be doing a little bit more. Now, I understand, had the injury, but there's been struggles outside of that injury, and I really think next year is a major prove-it deal if he wants to be a top quarterback in the next class. Next, at the 8 spot, we have Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State. The one positive of JSN's absence has been that we can see what these younger OSU wide receivers can do. And Egbuka has great burst, and I think he has the potential to be the value pick of 24 drafts. People are going to be so impressed with what Marvin Harrison Jr. can do that I think this guy's not going to get enough attention. There was a very, very similar thing with Wilson and Olave in this past year's draft. But by the time that most people did their rookie drafts, they were ranked a lot more appropriately. Wilson and Olave were a lot closer than they were, but there was a long time where people had Wilson at the 103, 105 range and Olave at the 111, 201 area. And I think there's going to be a similar effect with Harrison and Egbuka because, to be honest, the 8 spot might not even be doing him enough justice. He's a very talented wide receiver. The fact is, Marvin Harrison Jr. is just that much more talented. That said, at the 7 spot, we have Xavier Worthy. Now, Worthy and Egbuka have been very close for me. I'm giving Worthy the nod simply because he looks a little bit more explosive to me. But I think it's a very tough decision between these two at the 7 and 8. So if you want to go one over the other, I can't really blame you because it's very close for me. At the 6th spot, might be a surprise for some people, I'm going Drake Maye, quarterback out of North Carolina. I personally love Drake Maye. He can run. He's North Carolina's leading rusher right now, and he's got a great arm. I mean, you can watch some tape, watch some film, watch a highlight. I don't really care. The ball just flies out of his hand. And so often when he throws, the ball looks so pretty. I don't really know how to explain it. He just looks very good, and people aren't talking about him enough. I really want to see how he performs next year without Josh Downs, but when the 24 draft comes around, I think he's going to be at the top of a lot of draft boards and could end up as the 3rd or 4th player off the board in your rookie drafts. But for now, I have to have him at 6 because I need to see what he can do without a talented receiver like Josh Downs. Not to say there isn't talent behind Josh Downs, but I want to see 2 seasons of the production that he's putting up right now before I really push him above someone like Caleb Williams. That said, at 5, we have Brock Bowers, tight end at Georgia. Everybody knows him. He's just an all-around great tight end. He's athletic. He leads his team in receiving yards as a tight end, and he can block well. So there's going to be no concerns about him leaving the field. For me, it's usually hard to draft rookie tight ends, but Bowers just looks very special to me. Then at 4, we got Braelon Allen, running back out of Wisconsin. He's got some big boy size at 6'2", 240, and he's had amazing production both this year and last year. And on top of that, he's shown some slight improvement in the pass catching game, which is awesome to see because you really want to see that before you push him up even higher. But really, it's going to be tough to rank these guys in the 24 class because there's a lot of talent again at the top. Right now, I'm just putting Braelon Allen at 4, but I mean, he has the potential to push people like you're going to see at the top of this one. Won't give it away yet if you don't know. Push people like Bijan Robinson. I think Braelon Allen's pretty talented, and he's got size, baby. But for now, just putting him at 4. Let's go to the next one at 3. You heard me mention his name earlier, and like I said with Egbuka, JSN's absence has given us an amazing opportunity to see what these other OSU studs can do. And plain and simple, Marvin Harrison Jr. has looked like an absolute stud. He just makes amazing catch after amazing catch. He runs super clean routes, and he's got great size. I think Harrison is the clear-cut wide receiver 1 of this class, and I don't think it's close. Then at number 2, you heard me mention this guy's name earlier as well, Caleb Williams, quarterback at USC. He's just looked great this season as well. And a part that I feel like isn't getting mentioned enough, this guy can scoot too. He doesn't have elite rushing ability. He's not going to get schemed to run and become a rushing monster like Justin Fields is right now, but he's got great mobility. He even housed one against Iowa State last year. All around, he just looks like a great QB prospect, warranted to put him at 2. And then at number 1 for your 24 rookie drafts, TreVeyeon Henderson, running back out of Ohio State. Now, to be honest with you, I'm a little bit worried about the lack of receiving work he's getting this year. He showed it last year as a true freshman, though, so I think it's the only thing that you really want to see next season is a return to form in terms of receiving production, closer to his freshman season than it has been this season. That's really what you want to see next year. But by all means, great running back. It's just that simple. In fact, for a good while, the Devy community had TreVeyeon Henderson over Bijan. That's flipped now for most people. For me especially, I think Bijan's still a little bit better. But TreVeyeon Henderson has the opportunity, he has the potential to be better than Bijan. We all know, we've all heard about how amazing Bijan is. So if that doesn't get you excited about this 24 class, I don't really know what will. TreVeyeon Henderson, great running back prospect. Really excited to see what he can do. And that's it for the 24 rookie draft. There's a lot of talent here, guys. I'm being serious. If you're looking to move to a rebuild, people aren't going to give you their 23 draft picks for cheap. But they might give you your 24 draft picks for cheap. So go out, see what it can cost you. This class looks, don't make me say it, this class looks maybe just as good, maybe better. In terms of running back, top-end running back talent, I think it might be better. There's a lot to like about this class. So go out, see what it can cost you, man. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit that sub button if you like the content. Give me a like. I appreciate it a ton. And go out, get some 24 rookie picks.